Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be Scan versus Terror here on Fighting Spirit. Top left, it is Terror, our orange Zerg player, and in the bottom left, it is Scan. He is blue, and he is Terran. Both of these players, ASL qualifiers in their own right, both of them excellent. I got this replay from Team Liquid's forums. And this is the first time I've cast a game between these two players, so I'm not entirely sure what to expect from these two. I know that Terror is excellent at ZVT, but man, holy smoke, Scan is good at TVZ as well. So I'm wondering if they've ever played each other before this game. Anyway, hit that like button if you're excited for a TVZ featuring Terror and Scan. Scan is quickly becoming one of my favorite players. Terror already is, because he knows how to drop against Terran and Protoss. Zerg players that don't know how to drop against the other races, not my favorites. Not my favorites, because they don't, I don't know, I just feel like dropping greatly increases your chance to win against both Protoss and Terran. What's up, Terry? How's it going today? Scouting the wrong way, as usual. Yes, I know. I know. You just want to take a cool trip over the water here, check out the sights, see what critters are over here, but Terror might be upset with you. SCV scouting the correct direction. Here is Scan. Oh, pool came up while I was talking to Terry. Certainly did, and it looks like an overpool. Yeah, overpool coming in. So, nothing crazy. Middle of the road opening. Here from the Zerg player, and I'm going to try to send a drone down to expand at about 11 supply. And the SCV is going to try to block that, because of course it is. But that's why there's lings coming out, and Oh, the NG, no, supply bay block. I assumed an NG bay block. That's not what it was. 6 lings actually coming out here. On the other side, Scan, making a Marine, working on a second supply depot. Looks like he... Oh. I guess this counts as a second supply depot under production. That's interesting. So Lings come in. SCV, do you want to be aggressive? Oh, never. I guess you can do both. We're going to kill the SCV and be aggressive. Running out here. Second barracks coming in. Drone sees this and actually escapes with its life because the Marine just popped out of that barracks. Lings decide not to go for the aggression play here. There's one. Although SCV is coming down to block this ramp, this is something that Scan is actually super worried about. So that's entirely fair, dude. Bring the SCVs down. It is more Lings than 2 that were made for sure. So this is being an aggressive play from Terror. Got a macro hatch coming up at the top of that ramp as per tradition. And here come Los Zerglings. Let's see how this goes. This is a really good block from Scan. 3 Marines top of the ramp, 2 SCVs. Yeah, I'm not sure that Terror is even going to try to get up here, to be honest with you. Whole position SCVs, they just have so much HP. 60 HP, man. To knock through that as a Zergling with 5 damage, you do the math. It's a bunch of hits, though. Another Marine shows up. This is not getting easier for you, Terror. Another SCV actually sneaks across the map, goes for the scout, sees there's no gas being taken, and in fact, there's not a lair coming up either here. Ooh. Is Terror trying to win this thing with Massling early? I kind of feel like he is, or at least deny this expansion attempt with a ton of Zerglings, but that is good news from Scan, I think. I think that's good news from Scan. If there's no gas coming in from the Zerg player, okay, now we're actually taking gas. SCV is now going to get up here and scout. Oh, maybe could, if he's being controlled at all, but we're really worried about these Lings. And yes, does see there's actually gas being taken now, and the lair timing starts at about 4 minutes. So this is not fast Muta by any stretch. If there's going to be a Mutalisk opening, it's going to be later than usual, so Scan can actually forego those missile turrets for about a minute longer than he normally would want to do that. And I would say, so far, so good here out of Scan. He's doing all right. All right, he dealt with the early Ling pressure. It wasn't a huge amount of Zerglings, but it was enough. And does he feel safe enough to expand? That's the question. Well, actually, he feels safe enough to push here and actually forcing... Oh, 2 Sunkens? This is a 2 Sunken play, yeah. Are you going to go for 3? I don't know that you need 3. Ugh, okay. 3 Sunkens. Well, 3 creep colonies anyway. Are we going to get up to 3 Sunkens is the question. Sometimes Zerg players will leave one of these open and not make it into a Sunken yet, just because he's not quite sure he needs it yet. Zergling's trying to poke and see how many... Oh, man, really? Okay. I feel like 3 Sunkens is probably overkill in this situation, but, you know, there's additional reinforcements coming in, and having 3 Sunkens, you feel better to have 3... I guess 4. Feel better to have more Sunkens than too few Sunkens in a situation where there are Marines and Medics and Fire Bats, which will make your Zerglings fairly useless, all things considered. So, expanding behind this is Scan, all sorts of good. Is he going to push? I wouldn't push into 4 Sunken. He just stimmed. Yeah, I think he just saw the 4th Sunken, and he's like, ooh, 4 Sunkens, bad. Can we kill this Overlord without getting a range of the Sunkens? Probably not. Really well placed there by Terra. So Terra's lair is done. What's he going to do? It is a Spire. Okay, fine. It's a Spire. Engineering Bay coming up. Like I said, later Mutalisks than usual, but that's fine. It's going to be just fine here from Scan. He knew the timing on that lair. Getting a range upgrade for the Marines, but 4 Sunkens, really 5? Wow! Okay, well, you know what, Terror, if you want to feel safe, I'm not going to tell you you can't. You're a much better player than I am. Let's get them extra Sunkens up. Like I said, range coming in, Engineering Bay finishing now. And really, you don't need to start making the turrets until the mutas are in production. Muta production time and turret production time is about the same, and plus the mutas have to fly all the way down there to attack you as well. So let's, yeah, holding off on turret production for the time being, making more SCVs. He is at 26 SCVs to 25 drones. Got ourselves a +1 infantry weapons coming in here too. And this is actually pretty interesting. This really does prevent Terror from taking a 3rd base, which he would have wanted to do by now. But he wasn't able to sneak a drone out before this little contained. This is smart. This is some smart stuff out of Scan. I like it a lot. It is 8 Mutalisks on the way. And behold, the turret production a little bit early, maybe earlier than necessary, but again, better early. And better too many turrets than too few. And now it's time to head home, because 8 Mutalisks is going to be pretty scary against this number of Marines, especially if there's any Ling support. Sunkens have to kill their own Sunkens so that they can get out. Oh, that's annoying. That is super annoying. Alright, well... bunch of mutas, 8 of them, 9 probably. Not 5, 8, 9. Yep, 9 Mutalisks. Lurker asked back to getting started. Lings are escorting this drone up to take a 3rd base while the mutas are allowing for that to happen with the pressure that they are putting up here. But man, bunch of Marines with a range upgrade with stim, working on that +1. I mean, some of them are going to die. Let's not lie. Some of these Marines will die. By that I mean at least 3 of them so far. Mutalisk Flock has not lost a single of their member at the moment. And finally an 8-minute 3rd here from Terror, but not feeling good about that, honestly, for Terror. That is a late 3rd base, but Lurker Aspect is coming in. The Mutalisks are buying enough time to where they can get some Lurkers up at the top of this ramp and defend the 3rd base from incoming bioplay. He knows it's not a mech tech switch, at least not yet. The first factory is in construction right now for Scan, so he's not going to be pumping out, 3 tanks at a time anytime soon. A couple SCVs are idle. Again, these are not automatically rallied, so, if you struggle with this in your own games, just know, I've caught Flash with idle workers, I've caught Bisu with idle workers, I've caught every player I've ever cast with some idle workers at some time. So don't worry about it. It happens to the best. It doesn't mean you're going to lose the game. Brood War, as Artosis has said, is the game that is not about who plays the perfect match, but who plays the match with the fewest mistakes. I've always found some wisdom in those words, for sure. Alright, Queen's Nest coming in. Terror is a Zerg player who understands the importance of Dark Swarm and Plague. So we'll see if we have that rolling. We're not really committed to anything yet. Well, hang on. Additional barracks. Okay, so additional barracks here from Scan tells me we are committed to this bio play, right? Marines, Fire Bats, Medics, and the Science Vessels. Going to be the play for the time being. Maybe we're going to switch into the mech. I don't know. Nobody knows until it happens. Terrans keep that information very close to the vest, or close to the chest. I've heard it both ways. There's the hive. Is there close to the vest and close to the chest? I think both of them kind of make sense, but I might lean towards close to the chest making more sense. Because if you're holding cards close to your chest, then the other players can't see them, right? If You're protecting them. You're keeping them hidden. If you're playing like poker or something. But close to the vests, it's kind of the same thing because vests are on the chest. I don't know. Mutas keep getting murdered here. Not really getting a lot of value for it either. I don't feel good about this from Terror. But the fact that he's making 6 Lurkers is pretty good. Is this a Lurker trap is the question. Or is it just regular Lurker stuff out here in the middle of the map? 5 Mutalisks. Again, I'm not... They bought the time, right? They bought the time that was needed to get a 3rd base up, which is stupid important in this situation against Terran, and without this, it's really hard to get your 3rd base. So, good job, Mutalisks. They did the work. Lurkers did not actually trap. Lurkers just kind of started attacking as soon as the Marines arrived, and as a result, they're both dead. Yeah, 2 Lurkers in the middle of the map against this many Marines. You really, if you're going to try to use them to actually take this group out, you kind of do need to stop them, right? Just the spamming stop so they don't attack anything. Anyway, is there a 3rd base anywhere in production right now from Scan? I don't think so, but he's getting a Radiate. He's getting Siege Mode. He's making a Science Vessel. Defiler Mound is getting started now. For Terror, it is 100 to 77 supply. You know, the remaining Mutalisks here have gotten some good value. I kind of feel like these last 5 Mutas have done better than the initial 9 Mutalisks as far as paying for themselves, but I don't know. That might not be accurate. We've got a couple Scourge coming in to deal with the Science Vessels too. This is a dance we've seen a few times in, you know, in the time of the Brood War, which is 20 years now. When did this meta start being a thing? It's a good question. I don't know. These Mutas, look at them being, I was going to say, look at them being microed. Never mind, they're all dead. Not being microed at all, it turns out. Just Terror just kind of letting them go. Scourge, no. Why would the Scourge go in there? That is just careless from Terror. Terror! Need you to step your game up, bud. We've got a 4th base coming in from him. I'm totally cool with that. This is buying time. Oh, there's a drop too. For Scan to get a 3rd if he wants it. This pressure is real. These Lurkers are not great at jumping on this, not especially with siege tanks involved. But once the first Dark Swarm pops, that's when it'll be different. Consumes on the way. Lurkers getting irradiated, hurting each other, having to burrow, tanks firing up. Science Vessel feeling brave enough to push up here, provide that additional detection as well as the vision of these Lurkers. Metabolic boost coming in. Those Scourge weren't anywhere near the Science Vessel. What is happening? Ugh. More Lurkers trying to come in here, but Scan looking good. Oh, did I miss a drop? I did, and the dropship dies. Alright, hold on a second. Backing up a tiny bit here. Sorry, I saw that drop moving out, and then I just got so distracted by this contain and the fact that the Scourge were being terrible, and what do these guys do? It feels like they get no damage done, but that can't be possible. Oh, well, alright, that will do it. They unloaded right next to a Nidus Canal. Lings popped out and murdered them. Okay! That'll do, pig. That'll do. That's why you get your Nidus Canal, Zerg player, is for that exact purpose. Are you getting dropped? Instantly transfer units to defend against the drop. It is an overpowered thing, to be sure, in a game where speed is everything. For instantaneous transition from one place on the map to another, overpowered by definition. I mean, this is problematic, though. I mean, this is Terror just kind of getting squeezed out. There's the Dark Swarm that Terror has needed for the last couple minutes here. This does force Scan back. Again, if nothing else, Dark Swarm is a zoning mechanism that prevents the Terran from being able to push in any further, and in fact forces them out, is what it does. Adrenal Gland's almost done for these Lings, and when that happens, they're going to be much better than they are. About a 35-40% increase on attack speed there, which is insanely good. Ultralisk Cavern on the follow-up. And where's your 3rd? There's the 3rd base. Man, Scan is so worried about Terror that he's building the 3rd base as part of the wall on his natural. That is... Scan says, well, better luck up at the 3rd base? Quite possibly, yes. Again, there's a Defiler here, and again, there's a Nidus for instantaneous reinforcements over this way, but they brought the tanks up too... Oh! Brought the tanks up too far, independent of the rest of the army. Look at this. Terror anticipated there being a third base here. There's not one here. He's like, oh, okay. Sure. There's not even a third base for Scan. I feel better now. Right? This Overlord's keeping an eye on this area, too. These Lings run into a meat grinder, take down a single Marine, and that's about it. Jumping. Oh, the Lurker's coming forward. That's never a good sign. That is a retreat indication. An indicator to run away if you are a Terran player. There are certain things in StarCraft that are just automatic reactions to what's going on. One of those is if Lurkers are coming at you over the ground, you need to run. You need to get out of there. This little group, they've lost all their tanks. They still have their science vessels, which is amazing, if you ask me. And look at this. They're going to take down this 4th base attempt at 12 o'clock from Terror. Cool. Look at this. Where's your 3rd base, Scan, says Terror. I don't understand why you don't have a 3rd base right now. It concerns me. What are you planning? And, well, he's just been too timid, honestly. He's getting his 3rd base at 15 minutes, which is crazy late for a professional ZVT. Lurker down. Defiler needs to run, and by that I mean waddle. Spellcasters are not fast by design. Spellcasters that are fast are too strong. That's why Science Vessels aren't super fast. It's why High Templar are not super fast. Dark Archon's in the same boat. Plague getting researched. 5 Ultras coming in, and this is Scan's in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. He just is. I don't... why? Okay, so both players have kind of been on the little careless side in this game. Science Vessels alone, entirely unprotected in the middle of the map. Of course Scourge are going to find them. Solo Ultralisks. And then Scourge just kind of flying over Marines for no reason. That's not the best I've ever seen Terror play either, so I don't know. 3rd base up from Scan. He's getting a 4th base too, but these Ultras are the problem, right? These Ultralisks are the problem. Oh, that Dark Swarm saved this Ultra's life. This Ultra was down to 14 HP. He was dead, and now the Dark Swarm is a place he can hide out and not be dead. Great stuff. Meanwhile, look at these Marines bravely attacking upper ramp into Dark Swarm and Ultralisk. That Defiler just wandered outside the Dark Swarm for no reason at all. What a very strangely played game from both players. I know these are them. These are both legitimate IDs for them, but I don't know what this is. As far as they're not playing at the peak of their abilities, maybe they're younger. Maybe this is an older game between these two players. Entirely possible. I wish Brood War had a date played field in the metadata for these things, but they don't. Okay, so 12 o'clock base from Terror is able to come up. Ultralisks, unescorted really by anything. They're going to die as a result. But, you know, 3 kills is good, 1 kill is good. Anabolic Synthesis is coming in, but they already have the Chitinous Plating. Give them 5 armor, and then 6 armor is on the way. So yeah, these Ultralisks are dead. Just outnumbered. Horribly outnumbered there. Like, you can take out Marines with Ultras if you have better than like a 2-to-18 ratio. Is what you need there. I mean, this is good enough, honestly. Like, this is... Yep. And, oh, got the Ultra with one of the last hits there from the Marines. Another pushing attack here from Scan. Trying to come up to the 3rd base and mess with the Zerg player there, but it's a full evacuation of SCVs at 6 o'clock, which is never a good thing. This left side base is alive. The 4th base totally exists. Science vessels are radiating as they can, trying to unload, again, right next to a Nidus Canal. That Lings and Ultras just flood out of and everybody dies. These are not the best drops I've ever seen before. Oh, Scourge! That's not great Scourge stuff either, but again, there's Lurkers in the Dark Swarm! Get out of there! Oh. But it's 155 to 107 supply here from Scan. He's just kind of outproducing Terror right now. He's 6 o'clock base is back. I don't know what these guys are doing over here other than dying to this one Ultralisk, which is, I don't know, honorable, I suppose. This Ultra trying to come up a ramp. There's no defense here at all except for 2 Marines, which is very interesting. This is a big Ultra Ling attack. Just pushing in. Scan is entirely unconcerned about the number of Ultras here, which is not great. He should be more concerned. That Ultra got 5 kills before he went down. That is acceptable, I think. We're irradiating the Ultralisks for the first time today. Scan has decided it's time to do that. Rather than irradiating the Defilers and the Lurkers, let's make that happen. This Ultralisk spot on the ramp. Could probably get up here and do some stuff. He's got about full health here. And, yeah, too much stuff top of the ramp. Ultra's getting absolutely obliterated. Free Overlords! Not even supply block. That's not even a supply block. Oh, we got some tanks out. We're not tech switching into mech, though. Just a couple tanks are out, and they're also very dead because, again, Adrenal Gland Zerglings are insanely good units. Ultralisks with the full armor, which these have. 5 armor. Oh, almost 6. There we go. Extremely good units. Is Scan just being overrun? I think he is. I think he's just being overrun here. Again, not the best game I've ever seen from Terror. He only has 116 supply here, but he's forcing a full evacuation of that third base. However, a drop at the 12 o'clock is pretty good stuff. This is a potential drop, but there's a Dark Swarm directly underneath that landing zone. Probably shouldn't do that. This Ultralisk is irradiated, therefore doing damage to everybody he comes in contact with. Always hilarious. Always very funny stuff. Is this over? Oh, an Ultralisk got in here too. The 6 o'clock base is just in shambles. Okay, yeah. If these two expansions are gone, yep, that's a GG from Scan, and Terror is your winner at 120 supply at 20 minutes. Again, feels like a pretty casual game from Terror, or again, once again, maybe something where he was tired, or this was the first game of the day, or it's just not as crisp as I've seen from Terror, and Scan definitely has a lot of room to improve here. He did have more supply, obviously, but floating a bunch of cash is never ideal, especially minerals and gas here. Production tab was 8 Marines at a time, 2 science vessels at a time, but some additional tanks would have probably helped against Los Ultralisks. And yeah, this is Terror style. Distilling Ultra with the Defiler support. Scourge 2, ton of Scourge died. I think 4 total Scourge connected with science vessels today, and I think the rest of them, like the rest of the 30 or 40 that remained, were all just dead, accomplishing nothing. Brutal stuff for sure. Well, all right, so pretty, traditional TVZ stuff here, some sloppy play on both sides, but that makes it interesting, right? That makes you feel like you're not quite sure what's going on, but once you can kind of squeeze your opponent's expansions and make them fall back to their first 2 bases, they're done. Right? They don't have enough income to support it. You're everywhere. This drop up north was really good. This drop right here was bad. But, Terror expanding to the right side as well. It's just too much. Too much to overcome, and the Zerg player gets the win today. All right, end of the day. We are looking at a 20-minute and 21-second replay. Total score, 114,000 points for Scan, 119,000 points for Terror, which makes sense. Produced units, fairly similar, but yeah, those 8 racks players can sure pump out a lot of Marines. Lost the exact same number, so produced is where we're looking. 65 units left over, so that is what was left over for the Zerg, and that was enough. And resources here, yeah, just too much gas from Terror, too many minerals mined from him, and then outspent the Terran player by about 8,000, which is kind of what you need to do to win a TVZ. That's what I'm telling you. All right, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. And that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.